Okay, now we're really rolling, okay? On point, the Google video, and clearly tells the brand story. To grow your business, you need to understand who you are, and your company's place in an ecosystem. And again, we're gonna focus on some ways to help you think about your brand, your market position, your customer, and ultimately the right platform to communicate your message. So with that, and I am sure everyone in here has done this, but SWOT analysis, are you all familiar with that? You know, to think about your business in a way of define your strengths. What are your advantages? Write them down, bring your team members in, but work through where am I in a market and where is my biggest strength? What's my weakness? What's my disadvantage in a marketplace? My opportunities, how do I play to that advantage? How do I play to that strength? And what's my threat? What's my weakness in this ecosystem? And how do I minimize my weakness and my threat and grow my strength and opportunity? So, and again, it's all part of coming to this brand message to define who you are, who your company is. So ask yourself those questions, right? Your strength, your opportunity, and defining that to really understand how you move forward in positioning yourself. And again, once you define it, to the left, this is something my company does. It's a service, it's a marketing audit, and it really brings you from start to finish with creative messaging. You know, the end game is creative messaging and platform, you know, the right platform to be on to communicate to communicate your brand message. And most importantly, your customer. To ask yourself these questions, and again, use the data that you get on who is your customer, how old are they, where do they live, who are they, literally, who are they? And then, how do you improve your current customer's experience and their ROI? And then continually grow your base. It all goes back to your brand messaging and what you're putting out on your platforms. Steve's going to take you through the customer journey mapping.
Yeah, it is really important when, just going back on that previous slide there, you know, you have to understand what their problem is and what your solution is and why it's better than anybody else's solution. So part of the way you can do this is through something called customer journey mapping. Anybody ever done customer journey mapping? This is a real thing. This started probably back around 2008. There's actually companies that 100% are focused on this, but there's typically 5 stages of a customer journey map. It's awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and then advocacy. So your awareness is how are you marketing to them? How are you making them aware of your company? Consideration is, okay, now you've got them a little bit interested. How are you going to nurture that lead? Are you guys nurturing leads these days? Most people don't. You make a call to somebody, it doesn't work out. You don't put them on a jerk campaign. There's lots of different ways you can nurture those leads. So now they've made a purchase. So now, how are you going to onboard them? How are you going to move them into a continuing education phase? Advocacy and loyalty. Where are you going to kind of create and complete the circle on the back end? Are you going to ask them for referrals? How are you going to go about growing that business, turning that customer into your biggest advocate?
So now we get to the platform definitions, but in the middle, content is king. Your brand message and who you are. If you're not authentic and really nail that piece of it, if they come to your website or they go into your store and you're not true to what your promise is, you will not get a return customer. So that content piece is so critical to how you push out to the platforms. I'm going to walk you through some impact media and some of the evolution of traditional media, and we'll talk to you guys about print, kind of hear from you on that, you know, if anyone's using it and what success they're having. And Steve?
I'll take you through kind of website, digital marketing, and then some kind of unforgotten and feared means that you might be overlooking. Okay,
so this is an eye chart, but this is television in its evolution. So television has actually become digital. So now with all the, who watches Netflix? Hulu, right? Okay. So now we can find you in streaming, and we can message to you. So like digital, it is extremely targeted. We can go to the geography of where you live, and we can also get the psychographic of a consumer. So television has actually evolved into a digital medium. And again, you can still buy TV as a broad awareness piece, and you can, push your message out to all of Chicagoland. And this is a second option. Think of it as television 2.0. And radio, to your point, on podcasting and everything else that's going on, radio has evolved immensely. It is not in your car. It is on your phone. It is online. It is everywhere. And Pandora and Spotify are two companies that have really stepped out. They have millions and millions and millions of customers, and they can, via video, they can target so effectively a consumer. I mean, right to the geography. There's new technologies now with AI. They can get you right into the home. I mean, they can follow the customer from beginning to end. But Pandora and again, and Spotify, they have really enhanced their offerings. And there's podcasting, and there's a million different avenues that radio is now offering. So media is evolving, and it's why your message has to stay consistent, because that's the only part of the journey a customer. Think about how many times you get slammed every day, right? You get up, you turn on your phone, you see something, you watch, you get in your car. Consumers they're getting, it's 24/7, so you've got to break through. And that one piece of content is the most important part of the breakthrough. So with that, print. Who uses print in the room? Does anybody still? Renee, what do you use?
Direct mail postcards, generally.
Okay, which I hear, do you have success with that? I hear from clients Valpak is working strategically, but does anyone use the newspaper any longer to advertise? So it's an evolution out, and print has really gone far more digital, and they've been trying to reinvent themselves for probably 10 years, but there's still opportunities within print that you can directly speak to a consumer.
Yeah, and the last image there, billboards, we're actually going to be testing that out over the coming weeks here. So you've probably driven on 294 south of O'Hare. That 5-mile stretch has more billboards than anywhere in the country. So we are going to experiment with both a digital billboard and a print billboard. And it's relatively affordable.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how cheaply you can do this stuff. I don't know if it's going to work. It's going to be a simple message. It's going to have a code on it, so we'll be able to track and measure it. So, where's your business come from? Is anybody going to not say referrals here? Right? Overwhelmingly, that's what we hear all the time. All of our business comes from referrals. And don't get me wrong, referrals are great, right? When they're great, there's nothing better. Three challenges with that. Number one, they're not predictable. Number two, they're not consistent. And number three, it's really difficult to scale that. And now the data is telling us something that's got to make us think outside of referrals. 75% of people 40 to 65-year-old will trust a referral. That means if I'm looking for a plumber and Patty says, Steve, you have to call so-and-so, I'm going to pick up the phone and call that person. However, if she tells that to somebody who's 33 years old, they're not going to do it. 90% of buying decisions are made online. That means that people in that demographic, that 24 to 39, they're going to go research the company, and it's not about just the website. It's going to be about their reviews. It's going to be about their social media presence. There's a lot that goes into this. Google came up with a term for it. It's called the 0 moment of truth, and that's the fact that all the buying decisions are made online. So really, that's where digital marketing comes in, right? There's a lot of platforms out there. I put the most popular ones out there, and you've got over 10 billion monthly active users on these platforms. But the reality is, it starts with search, right? So you have to make sure you're doing the things you need to be doing to get your business found, and there's a lot that goes into that as well. So if you look at this, and if you guys saw me, whoever saw me present here back in December, I had this slide up as well. Picture this as, one long search results page, right? So on the left side, you've got what's called Google Search, which is pay-per-click ads. There's a lot of different names it could go by, but you're paying for those spots. You're paying for search terms, and you're only paying for when somebody clicks on that ad. That's a really effective means to get business quicker than some of the other solutions. The challenge with it is only about 10% of people click on those ads. I'm a digital marketer, and I hardly ever click on those ads. not gonna lie. Doesn't mean it's not effective. Then you've got your maps listing. So this is where you have to make sure you claimed your Google My Business listing. I say this to businesses all the time, and half the people don't even know what the Google My Business listing is. So I encourage you, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google My Business. It's really important, it's free, and you have to do it. Next is the organic search results, and this is where you can really have this driven by a number of different ways to show up in those spots, primarily search engine optimization. So by definition, search engine optimization is the art and science of getting your business found before your competitors. Kind of a little bit about how it works. Humans and search engine robots want different things, yet some of the things are similar. So you've got to have, for example, really unique content on your website. It's got to be active, you've got to be changing content, refreshing content, your site's got to be mobile friendly, whole bunch of stuff. I can talk to you, at length for an hour on search engine optimization. But now it's changing. So voice search is going to make up 50% of all searches in 2020. So what that means now is your website has to be very conversational and contextual and capable of answering the question. For example, if I'm in the city of Chicago and I do a search for Italian restaurants, I type it on my phone, Google knows where I'm at, and it's going to show me a list of Italian restaurants. However, if I hit my microphone and say, hey Siri, give me a great Italian restaurant in the city of Chicago, my website better be able to address that, right? I better have somewhere on my website, preferably homepage, we are one of the top Italian restaurants in the city of Chicago, right? So it's really complex on how you gotta do it, but there's things called featured snippets, not to get too technical, but plenty of ways you can address this. Voice search is estimated to make up $10 billion in online revenue this year. So it leads to your website. You've gotten found, you've gotten people to click on your website link. Now, the ultimate question is, how good is your website at converting? This is probably the most important thing I'm going to talk to you about here today because it's something you have control over. Number one, your site's got to be mobile friendly, right? Nobody is pinching and zooming anymore. If I come across a site like that that's not mobile friendly, I leave. It's that simple, and I'm in the majority. Next, you've got to have very clear calls to action, meaning able to book an appointment, fill out a form. This should be on your homepage, ideally above the fold, if you know what I mean by above the fold, so nobody has to scroll down to see it. Clear contact form, easy to get a hold of you. Chat, you heard me in my 24 earlier this morning talking about a win. Look, chat is a really easy thing to implement on your website, and if you don't have it on there, you're missing a great opportunity. You're about 70% more likely to turn a visitor on your website into a potential lead if you engage them at the time they're engaged on your website. Video. You're going to see about 40% more traffic from search engine robots over businesses that don't have video if you have video on your homepage. Additionally, consumers are about 80% more likely to engage in a product or service if they see a video about that product or service. Blogging. Fresh content is critical to getting your site seen. You can all say, well, I'm not really a writer, blogging's not my thing. You're an educator, you're in sales, you have a business, you're a writer. You just need to put those thoughts and verbalize down on paper, write a weekly blog, and keep that blog about education. Educate your consumers, really critical. FAQs, we talked about voice search. Easy way to be able to participate in that is through having an FAQ section on your website. Think in terms of the consumer. What is the consumer asking you, right? Answer those questions on your website. And then my favorite. So this is the sophisticated stuff, right? There's things called Facebook Pixel, Instagram Pixel, LinkedIn. It's not called a Pixel, it's got a different name that's eluding me. But this is a little snippet of code you can install on your website. And then what happens is, let's say somebody visits your website, the next time that person is scrolling through Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, they will get served up with your ad. You've probably all had this happen to you, right? You've been on a website, next thing you know, there's an ad. You're like, what?
How did that happen?
Yeah. Really cool technology and pretty sophisticated. So your website, really clearly, right? A couple of things. Lay out what you do, why should people care, trust, put your testimonials and reviews on your site if you can, and that How do I contact you? What's the easiest way to get started? So then we kind of have some, what I call feared and forgotten means here. Trade shows. We built our whole business around trade shows. We're really strategic about how we go about this. So we're a digital marketing company. I don't ever go to a digital marketing show. Why would I do that? Why would I put myself in a room full of 100 other exhibitor competitors, right? An example, in October, we went to the American Massage Therapy Association event. 3,500 attendees at this thing, 1,000 of the massage therapists were in private practice. That's our target market. We don't want the big chains. There were 100 exhibitors. We were the only digital marketing company. How do you think we did at that event? Yeah. Where this comes into play though, you've got to know the value of a customer. So if the average value of a customer to you is $2,000 and it's going to cost you $4,000 to go to a show, you need 3 customers to be ROI positive, right? Be strategic about the shows you go to. Trade shows are an awesome, awesome way to grow your business. Host an event, host a luncheon, right? If you spend $200 on a luncheon and you know that a single client will get you 500, why are you not doing that kind of stuff?
I want to actually point to Renee again, because no, she did an event. She started her business, she moved her business, single retailer luggage, and she hosted an event. I'd love you to share what happened after and you know.
Yeah, we reached out in multiple ways. So it was a weekend-long grand opening event. So the Friday night part was invitation only, and we ended up having over 200 people come. But it rolled into a weekend of events that we further advertised through direct mail postcards to different target markets and reinforced it on social media. And it was our biggest retail weekend ever.
How about that from the event? So it's a great story.
The other thing that's ignored often is text marketing. The greatest marketing companies in the world are going to get about a 10 to 13% read rate on emails. 99% of text messages get read in the first 3 minutes. However, you have to be aware of something called the TCPA, which is the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. You cannot mass market to anybody unless they are a customer. You can market to them through mobile, or they've opted in to receive your marketing information. So it's you know, with the read rate on that, you just can't ignore that these days.
But it's got to be the right message.
So we are going to have some actionable, achievable to-dos that we're going to post on the Free to One page. Don't have a handout for that, but we'll get those posted out there. And just a couple of kind of closing thoughts here. You've got to look at marketing as an asset, not an expense. If you don't look at it as an asset, you're never going to fully participate and you're not going to win. The beauty of marketing is it's measurable. It's all very measurable. If it's not working, change it. If it's, you know, try multiple methods, they're not working, stop. Go about it a different way. Always be learning. I'm at the gym every morning and I don't even listen to music anymore. I listen to podcasts. I listen to digital marketing podcasts. I listen to sales podcasts. Podcasts are a really critical way. There's people way smarter than me, right? And I think there's people smarter than all of us. Learn from people who've done this. ABC in my 7-sec 24/7 there, I said, you know, you always hear as a salesperson, always be closing, always be closing. I really don't like that at all. It's always be educating. Educate your consumers. Stop selling. The people that are doing all this posting and pushing product, guess what I'm doing on them? I'm unfollowing them. And then I'm in the majority there. And really, it's all about that solution you're providing and what problem you're solving.
Solve a problem. So with that, do you guys have questions? Is there any point that you want to go deeper on? Yeah.
Question, we mentioned events before. It's harder and harder to get people to come out of their wherever to come to an event, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
As a speaker, it's very hard to put butts in the chairs, they say, to come out and see you. So what do you, because you're still saying that's a great thing if you know it costs this much to.
I think it's the uniqueness of the message, right?
Okay.
It goes back to that content. So if you're offering a service that, again, can get people excited, do a little research, right, on what's going to work, and then how you reach out, right? What platforms are you using? Are you using your social platforms? If they didn't work last time, try something different, right? But I do think events, if you can get people, look, it's that personal connection, like all the clutter and all the everybody that we talked about in the beginning, but that personal connection can really drive business for you. So, I mean, we can talk later about some different strategies and maybe how to get some promotion organically, some PR that can help the event, you know, things like that. Renee did a great job with that. She got an interview with the Tribune. I mean, so there's, you know, there's radio stations out here that would come and probably talk to you. So using different media to leverage the event.
Free food, free beer.
Well, then you'll get, you might not get the people you want.
One point on if you're gonna do things like that on social media, I don't know how many of you know this. Let's say you have 1,000 followers on your Facebook business page, and you do a post on Facebook. Less than 1% of your followers see that. I don't know if you know that or not. That's Facebook's way of saying you wanna get this in front of more people, you gotta pay to boost it.
That's right, yeah.
I always say to my to my clients, stop talking about yourself and start talking about your customers.
Bingo,
Because
key.
too many companies spend too much time trying to convince people through how good they are, rather
That's
than
right.
engaging at how good their customers are.
And listen, right? Listen to your customers.
Question in the back?
Can we make that presentation available to us?
No. We'll put it somewhere, I don't know. Yeah, sure, of course, yeah.
So one of the things that you guys mentioned, and I think that often goes through a lot of people's heads through the conversations that I have, is, right, you mentioned investment. People look at marketing as it's expensive, right? Especially the means of radio and TV, right? What is a cost that someone could?
You can scale this. It is a very scalable, you know, you gotta, it's again, where your message belongs. And everything is scalable. You know, you can do local cable, you know, video at a really low cost just right in this trading area. So, you know, 102.3 is a really dynamic radio station. You can actually utilize them. It's not an expensive out-of-pocket. And by the way, it's all about a 360. So you shouldn't just work into one media. You should think about a customer journey, right? What they do every day. You want to try to be efficiently in every single place that your customer is.
So the Small Business Association will tell you that the most successful small businesses spend 10% of their revenue on marketing.
Yeah.
6 to 8% of that should be digital. So
Well,
you can kind of set your,
yeah.
you get to set your budget, right?
Yeah.
We've got customers that are spending, you know, $1,000 a year and having tremendous success, and I've got some that are spending, you know, 20 times that are having success.
But the message is, you know, important. Did you have a question?
Just a comment. I'm on the radio, and I can attest to the fact that it does work.
Who are you
for
on?
me anyway. WBBM.
AM, that's an amazing
Yeah,
vehicle.
I'm on the radio, and I've been on for a year and a half, and I get, I spend X, I get 2X back.
And you work at Siegel?
Pardon me?
Your company, are you with Siegel? Is that what I heard you say in
What do you mean?
the company you work for?
Okay.
First Eagle.
Oh,
First Eagle.
sorry.
First Eagle Mortgage, I'm
First
sorry.
Eagle, okay.
First Eagle.
I
Mortgage.
apologize, I thought,
So
okay.
I think that's, it does work.
Yeah,
And it is scalable.
And again, it goes back to defining your buyer persona,
Yeah.
right? Because not all of your audience is on WBBM. So you need to know who you're selling to, where they're at, where are your customers at.
BBM, highly discretion, like high-income business owners. You can talk to the C-suite, believe it or not, on BBM AM.
If you're doing an event, at least talk to a professional event planner.
Yeah,
For some ideas on your event.
that's
I mean,
true.
just because you did your 9-year-old's birthday party does not make you a professional event planner.
Look, I think this stuff, marketing is a really good function to outsource, right? Everybody's got their pain point. For me, it's painting. Why wouldn't I outsource painting? I can't stand the paint. To paint 2 rooms, it's gonna take me, 4 weekends. If I could pay somebody to come in and, for $800 and they're in and out in a day, there's really good things to outsource. Marketing is a great function to outsource for a small business.
Yeah,